Morning, everyone. I can see the room starting to fill up, so we'll get started on this. I'd like to welcome everybody in the room to the latest session in the Security Middle East webinars series. Today, we're very excited to be introducing a session in collaboration with Zenitel. Zenitel are a world-leading provider of intelligent critical communication solutions. And today we'll be exploring how a new unified critical communication approach that combines both safety and security technologies enables a transition to a more collaborative approach amongst safety and security personnel. Again, thanks to everyone who's joining live. And just a reminder to enter any questions that you may have during today's presentation in the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. We'll be sure to address any questions you may have at the end of the presentation. We're also running some polls today, so please do look out for these, starting with one that will be jumping on your screen quite soon. So please feel free to enter your answers into this and we'll review these as the presentation goes on. Now for today's speakers. Sri Sutarsan is based in Zenitel's head office in Norway. Sri's got over 20 years experience in product management, research and development, and he's worked with several global brands supporting them with their vision and strategy for technology investments. We're also joined by Sangeeth Satish, who joins us from the Dubai office of Zenitel. And Sangeeth brings a wealth of experience in telecommunications and security systems, having worked on many projects overseeing AV solutions, CCTV, and IT infrastructure projects. So I'm delighted to welcome these industry leaders onto today's webinar. And without further ado, Sri, I'd like to hand over to you so that we can get things going and begin with the presentation. Before you do get the presentation ready, we can see there already that the answers of today's poll, it looks like we've got quite a few systems integrators in the room, some installers, and then some people whose job title falls into other. So it's great to have you all join us and a nice diversity of professionals in the room. So Sri, over to you.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for the great introduction. I hope you all can see my screen. If you can confirm, Ryan.
Yes, it's on the screen. Thanks, Sri.
Okay. So thanks for the great introduction and good morning or good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. Just an apology from my side, just in case if you hear any background noise. They're doing some office work. They are doing some refurbishment here in my office, so apologies in advance. So as Ryan mentioned, the topic for today is about our unified critical communication concept and how this can bring significant value to security system owners, system integrators, as well as installers, especially on how this unification concept can significantly improve the coordination as well as the collaboration among staffs, security members, as well as emergency personnel such as police and ambulance services. What I'm going to do to set the stage for the discussion today, I just want to take a moment to reflect on this particular case. This one is from a place called Grenfell in London. Some of you may have heard about this. This is a residential apartment, and back in 2017, they had a fire incident that has cost them 72 lives. Of course, this is an unfortunate situation, but this happens. And I would like to take a few minutes to talk about this incident. So what they have done actually after this incident, they have done, as always, a post-event analysis, and they have uncovered a lot of issues as well as challenges for the cause of the fire, as well as how it was dealt during the incident, during the evacuation phase. One of the key findings is about the struggle of firefighters when it comes to coordination and collaboration during the incident. You will see in the next slide, this is about the struggle that the firefighters they had in terms of communication between the inside the building as well as their ground staff who were waiting outside the building. So when the first firefighter arrived at the scene, he tried to use the radio, and surprise, surprise, it didn't work. I think as he quoted in one of his interviews, um, so this is his words, not mine. The radio technology is from the dark age, and it was useless. And the unfortunate case is that since they had no other means of communications, they solely rely on radio. They were completely cut off from the outside. So the firefighters who were inside the building, they were completely cut off from the outside. And even to bring some additional equipment such as breathing apparatus, they had to go up and down the stairs to bring those essential apparatus because they couldn't communicate with the outside, the ground staff. So this lack of a reliable communication between the inside the building and the outside the building has resulted in firefighters wasting their valuable time going up and down the stairs. And therefore, they were not able to focus on the real problem, which is about putting out the fire. So this incident has really, taught us a few things. First and foremost, the critical systems, such as in this case, radio communication, needs to be maintained. In the case of Grenfell apartment, this has been neglected. The challenge here is not that they have the system owner have ignored it, but very often upgrading such critical system is technically challenging because these are very old systems. Not only that, they can be very costly to upgrade to a new system. So therefore, in most cases, the system integrators very often try to latch on to the age-old technologies to avoid this problem altogether. Or in other words, they try to put the problem under the carpet and dealt with when, it escalates like in this case. The another important lesson is that the firefighter had to rely on a single technology, in this case, of course, the radio. And the problem is actually, as we all know, technology can fail. Even the newer technology, they can fail. Therefore, it is important to make sure that the availability of multiple technologies to be able to manage such situations. I have included some references here, and I hope we will distribute this slide deck where you can go and read about what were the suggestion in terms of other technologies which could be part of the overall security of this building. So for example, if they would have had an intercom system or an IP speaker, they could have used it for communication toward the residents as well as the ground staff waiting outside. And the final piece of lesson is about the availability of the information. So this is very much linked to the two findings, the previous finding I just mentioned. So the problem with the firefighters is actually they had no means of communication to the outside the world, to the ground staff. This means that they couldn't, talk to them. They couldn't collaborate with them. The only way they could collaborate with them and communicate with them actually literally going up and down the stairs. So the firefighters inside the building, they were forced to work in silos and completely cut off from the rest of the crew. And I used this case just to frame our discussion today, but this challenge is of course not isolated to Grenfell apartment. we have spoken to many of our customers who are primarily system integrators, and they have highlighted many of the similar problems they have, similar to the Grenfell case. Very often, customers have multiple communication technologies within their facilities, and these technologies very often do not integrate it very well. They have not integrated very well. So these technology, they operate in silos, whether it's a radio technology or whether it's a voice alarm system, whether it's a fire evacuation system, they operate in silos. And one of the biggest challenges that they face today is actually the system upgrade of these multitude of communication technologies, because they operate in silos. They don't have a unified way of looking into all the communication system and be able to maintain them. So, when customers invest in communication technology, they expect them to last for a long time, typically about 15 years. But the problem is within that time frame, both technology as well as the customer expectations are going to evolve. On top of that one, there is a regularity side of things as well, which can also shift. A perfect example is cybersecurity. I mean, as we all know, compliance in this cybersecurity area has become way more important than, what used to be 10 years back. So the big question that the system integrators and the end customers have, how can they make sure that they are not stuck with an outdated system, like in the case of Grenfell apartment? So the challenge is actually they need to upgrade all of these individual systems because they don't talk to each other, which obviously adds complexity. Not only that, when they upgrade the system, there is also an issue of system downtime. So in the case of some critical applications like industrial application or train station and so on, availability of communication system 24/7 is quite critical. But in case of system upgrade, very often you need to put the system down for many hours. So you can carry out this system upgrade only during out of office hours, like in midnight, which is, of course, as we all know, quite costly because you need to hire staff to do this job in the midnight. So because of all of these challenges with maintaining these individual systems and to be able to upgrade them individually, very often, customers either delay the system upgrade as much as possible, or in some cases, they completely avoid the system upgrade. This means that they also miss out on the benefits of new technologies and new features, but also at the same time, their system could fall out of compliance with updated regulations. Again, the case here is that cybersecurity. As you all know, at least in Europe, they have a new cybersecurity framework called NIS2. So all the manufacturers, all the system integrators need to comply with that one. To be able to do that, you need to be able to upgrade your entire security system. So if you have your security system in silos, it's going to be significant undertaking for you to individually upgrade these systems. Another challenge that we need to discuss is about, again, as I mentioned, these system, the individual communication system, whether this is a radio system or voice alarm system or public address system or an intercom, they are not integrated and they work in silos. This also makes the entire IT architecture very complex and difficult to manage because they have their own system redundancy, they have their, redundant architecture and so on. But from a system point of view, it makes the complete IT architecture is quite complicated. Another one actually I would like to highlight here is that by having this separate communication system, they need to also work with multiple screens inside the control room operation. I've been to many control rooms in the past, and I have seen these control room operators wheeling their chair from one desk to another desk to monitor on their multiple screens. Because you have, one system for, let's say, radio, and another system for public address system, another system for voice alarm system, another system for video management system, and so on. So they go from one screen to another screen to another screen. So not only they can miss out on critical information by going back and forth between the screen, but also it's going to take them a longer time to take any action. That's the key point here. So we need to also see this problem in a holistic way. How can we bring this system together? How can we bring this system together so that we can address some of the challenges that we are discussing here? So in essence, the communication technologies, as you see here, there are multiple technologies and they are interconnected with a complicated mesh network, as you see here. So how do we go from this unstructured and uncoordinated way of communication to a more streamlined communication approach? A communication approach that allows different teams such as security, emergency, as well as operational team to come together and share and collaborate with one another. So this is where I would like to introduce our concept, the unified critical communication, or we like to call it UCC approach. With the UCC approach, we can bring the diverse communication solutions, like you see here, like we will discuss throughout the session. And our latest addition to our portfolio, Zenitel Connect Pro, which plays an important role in bringing these communication technologies together. So as you can see on this slide, different types of communication technologies such as public address, radios, intercoms, IP telephony, as well as the voice alarm system can be brought together with this central UCC platform. This allows the security and the safety and the operational team to be able to easily communicate as well as collaborate with one another. So just to give you an example, I'm not going to go into more details, but Sankeet will do that later in this presentation. But just to give you an example, if you have a security officer in patrol in your property, with this unified approach, he can now actually use his Tetra radio to issue emergency message over the public address system, or if you have IP speaker for that matter. But the point is, using the same radio, he can also manage other operational tasks, such as, to be able to remotely talk to a visitor and validate that visitor and perhaps open the door remotely as well. But we will come back to this point in terms of the use cases, in terms of how Zenitel Connect Pro can actually bring significant value to you and your customers in the later presentation. One of the things that I want to also highlight is actually is that with Zenitel Connect Pro, we are also helping to reduce the number of integration points. So traditionally, if you need to bring audio into your existing security system, such as video management or access control system, then you need to have integration with each communication technologies. If you need integration with public address system, that will be a separate integration from, let's say, IP telephony or radio. So the significant shift with our UCC approach is actually as opposed to integrating these individual communication system, you just now need to integrate with only one communication system, that is Zenitel Connect Pro. By being able to integrate with Zenitel Connect Pro, you get all the communication services from us. And this makes it easier for you to bring audio into your existing security system. So not only we are reducing the number of integration points, this also helps you to simplify the overall IT system architecture as well. As you saw in my previous slide, when the systems are integrated from a point-to-point, way, then the IT infrastructure can be much more complex than doing in UCC way, which is much more streamlined. Because now, in terms of bringing audio into your security system, you have a single point of connection, which is to the Zenitel Connect Pro. And this approach is, of course, the main, some of the challenges that we have discussed earlier. And, this approach helped to address some of those challenges. So as I mentioned, so besides being able to streamline your daily and emergency communication and provide a better collaboration with your staff, having a central communication platform means that you have now a single graphical user interface to set up, deploy, monitor, and maintain all your communication systems. So you can do everything, whether it's a voice alarm system or whether it's a public address system or whether it's an intercom system, you can manage them all from a single graphical user interface. You can think also from a training point of view or onboarding point of view as well. So within the physical security market, one of the biggest challenge that the security system owners have is actually the employee churn rate. Within the physical security industry, the employee churn rate is one of the highest in the industry. So now, so rather than, they need to go through multiple system training, they have now one platform to learn. This makes the whole onboarding process much more smoother. Onboarding of new employees much more smoother for the security operators. So that is these are some of the key points that I want to highlight of the UCC approach. But now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Sankeet, who is going to take us through some of the use cases where this UCC concept brings significant value to the customers.
Good morning, everyone. So as Sri mentioned before, we have a solution where we could mix or we could bring in all the communication requirements for the facility into a single platform, which would help the customer or the facility operator to coordinate to increase their response time, which is Zenitel Connect Pro. So this is our approach. So we have Zenitel Connect Pro, which will be the central unit for all the communication. So this will be the central platform, which will be integrating all the communication needs, whether it is your safety communication, security communication, operational communication, and even non-essential audio communication system or audio systems, including background music. So for the operator, for the facility owner, they just need to have a single platform with which they will be able to control, monitor all their audio needs. And then when they have a central security management platform, which would then be integrated with the access control system, VMS, video management systems, etc., they just need to have just one integration with the Zenitel Connect Pro so that they can have all the audio achievement. Now, so Zenitel Connect Pro, we are bringing in the audio solution to various industries. I have, so these are some of the market segment which we offer our solutions to. So we have from corporate, public education, healthcare, up to transportation and prisons and correctional facilities. So these are the market segments which we will be able to offer our solution, or we are at the moment, improving the safety and security of these facilities with our solutions. So I have a few examples where I am showing some of the industry which we are providing the solution to, and how a single unified critical communication system will help enhancing the safety and security of those facilities. So I would like to start with healthcare. So in healthcare, one would be of course, the hospitals have different requirements for communication. It could be the communication for the entry, that could be starting from the gate barrier to the visitor entry. It could be the critical communication between the staff within the facility, within the medical staffs, the surgeons, the nurses, etc. So in this example, let's see an operation room, an operating theater. So the operating theater, they're carrying out an operation, and they want assistance from a different staff member who is either within the facility but not outside. Then they can immediately, from the intercom which is installed in the operating theater, they can make a paging announcement to the staff room or the canteen, which has an IP speaker to it. The same intercom can also be used to call to the nurse base station. So the nurse will have their own intercom stations, so they can have a two-way communication. So one is a paging announcement, which is a one-way communication. They can also have a two-way communication with the nursing staff. The same intercom can also be used to communicate with the paramedics who are listening into the radio. So in case of an emergency, they can immediately respond, or they can listen into the radio. And finally, if the emergency, it's a critical emergency, they can announce a code blue, where they make an emergency announcement throughout the facility using the public addressing system. So you can see that from a single user interface, they are able to achieve the multiple communication requirement for the facility. So this helps in reducing the response time considerably. So rather than using different interfaces to reach out to the personnel, they can use a single interface to convey the communication throughout the facility, thereby reducing the response time and increasing the operational efficiency. So this was an example for the healthcare. I have two more examples. The next one is prisons. So prison is again a very critical situation, especially the communication. There should not be any miscommunication. The communication should be heard clearly and understood by whoever is making it and whoever wants to understand it. So you will have a desktop intercom station at the guard room or the security office. They can communicate with the inmates in the cell. So in each prison cell, you can have the intercom device, and they can have two-way communication using and they can also communicate with the security guards. So the security guards will be always mobile. They won't be sitting at a single place. They will be mobile, and they would be having their radio system with them. But the same stationary guard who's in the control room will be able to communicate with the mobile radio, and the security guards, in case they see any suspicious activity or they see any emergency situation, they could also make the paging announcement from their security the radio mobile to the speakers. So they will be able to make a paging announcement to a specific zone or a specific facility. They would be able to address that specific zone through their radio system. They could also have two-way communication, and they could make an all-call paging announcement also from the radio. So you can see that all the audio requirement is going through a single platform, and from any of the edge interfaces, they are able to reach out to other audio communication systems. And we can also have a visitor telephone. So in certain situation, certain requirement, if you want to monitor the visitor communication, that can also be done from the single point. And my final example for the segment is railway platform. You would be familiar with this. We can have these intercom devices at the passenger terminal. So if passengers need any information, they could press the call button on the intercom devices. They could reach a control room and they could gather the information. And if it is an emergency situation, the control room operator can then relay that information. They can make a paging announcement to the entire public addressing system, the entire zone within the facility, or the operator room can communicate with the security personnel who are carrying the radio equipment they can have. And they can also relay the audio from the passenger to the security personnel, so they can establish a communication. Who are mobile, they can make a paging announcement to the speaker, and if required, they can also call the external emergency responders, whether it is fire service, ambulance, or police service. They could reach the external security responders. So these will enhance the security and the safety situation in case of emergency for those facilities. So these were the segments how we are approaching. Now I want to show one example on how we are integrating with a specific device. So I have taken the example of a radio system because what we have noticed, one of the common feature is radio system is a commonly used across the facility, across the industry, whether it is healthcare, prisons, transportation. The security personnel, they are always mobile, they always use the radio system. So in this example, I just wanted to show that how our central Zenitel Connect Pro can be integrated with a Tetra system. So we have two ways of integrating. We can either have the analog level integration, or we can have a high level integration over SIP trunk. So we have different way of integrating our system as per their requirements. So our system is highly adaptable, highly versatile to integrate any sort of communication systems and bring it to a single platform. So Shri, would you like to join in?
Thank you. Sorry, my again apologies for the noise here, if you can hear that. Thanks for highlighting these interesting use cases, Sankeet. And these are use cases based on the real environment, real scenario. And so what we want to conclude here is actually, in summary, with our UCC approach, we help to bring all critical communication technologies, like as Sangeet mentioned, intercoms, cell points, radios, IP speakers, public address system, voice alarm system under one platform. So this allows the security system owners to leverage on a single platform for all their communication needs, while at the same time, it's also helping them to streamline their coordination as well as collaboration among their security as well as the operational teams. So by doing this way, this is helping them to reduce the response time, let's say during an emergency situation, or even for the daily operations. By being able to streamline their communication through a single platform, they can coordinate their daily operations in a better way and more efficient way as well. And as I indicated already with Zenitel Connect Pro, we are also helping to reduce the number of integration points toward the security system. And so by doing so, we are making it easier for system integrator to bring audio into their existing video management system or access control system. At the same time, you have now a single communication platform for all of your critical communication needs. And using this single communication platform, you can manage all of your communication assets, including, being able to upgrade the system being able to maintain the latest security patches and whatnot. It makes it easier for you because you have now one platform to do that. So I hope you all share the same vision as we have, with this UCC approach. I hope that this session helps you to understand some of the benefits of the UCC approach. So with this slide, I would like to conclude the first part of the presentation. Over to you, Ryan.
Gents, yeah, thank you very much. Really interesting insights to the different levels of a UCC approach, as you call it, and a very poignant case study at the beginning as well. As someone from the UK, the Grenfell disaster is something that comes up in the news here very often, and it's very close to our hearts. So really, really good to see this technology and how implementing it can enhance this UCC approach. Now, whilst you've been presenting, we have run a couple of polls. So first of all, it was great to see that over 90% of the people in the room currently offer PA or VA solutions as part of their integrations. And we can also see now as well that following your presentation, again, over 90% of the room agree that Zenitel has a compelling solution here. So you're definitely doing your job quite well in talking about the UCC approach and presenting the new solutions. Now, I'd like to pivot a little bit. We know that Zenitel is a global leader in physical security, and you've been delivering intercom systems for a number of years. However, we recently reported in the magazine's website that Zenitel has recently acquired a UK-based company who have been delivering PA and VA, or public address and voice alarm systems, for decades. Sangeeta, I think this might be more of a question for you, but it would be really useful, I think, to understand exactly what makes these PA and VA solutions so unique compared to others in the market. Could you help with that?
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. Thank you about bringing that topic, because PAVA is an essential life safety equipment for any facility or a life safety system. So Zenitel has a public address and voice alarm system, as you rightly mentioned. We had acquired a UK-based company, and we have brought into the PAVA system as part of our portfolio. So let me share. So yeah, so as we mentioned earlier, so our approach is to bring in all the voice requirement, all the communication requirement into a single platform. And public address and voice alarm system is, of course, an essential part in that. So what Zenitel offers as part of the PAVA system is some unique benefits of having the Zenitel PAVA system in the customer's portfolio will be, of course, audio quality. Zenitel was a company which was established in 1901, and we have heritage since the beginning of radio communication, and so we have been focusing on the audio quality in our products. So we have been offering solutions which enhances the quality, the clarity of the audio which he has been producing. So one of the unique benefits which our PAVA system offers is a full frequency range of audio communication. So our PAVA system can be used for public addressing, voice alarm. In addition to that, you can also use it for background music application if required. So this way, customer can have a single system which can offer voice alarm capability, public addressing systems, and background music. So they don't need a separate voice alarm system, they don't need a separate PA system, and they don't need a separate system for PGA. So this PAVA system will provide that. And we also have the built-in equalizer, which will help to adapt the system based on the ambient conditions. Each facility, each projects would have different levels of requirements, whether it is a railway platform, whether it is a hospital, whether it's a prison station, it would have different levels of ambient noise. So our system can be adapted according to the ambient noise levels, according to the ambient audio levels, so that the audio reproduced through the PAVA system is optimal for the users of those facility. So, and then is highly scalable and flexible. So we can have higher density output on a smaller space. So we have the amplifiers which can have multiple amplifier modules in it. Thereby you can reduce the rack space. And the system is of course highly scalable. You can have a system as small as a single controller and amplifier for a few zones, or you can have a very large number of zones, which is almost unlimited according to the customer requirement. Everything can be over the network, and then you can scale it up as much as you want. You can expand it when you have expansion of the facility, and which can be then part of the same system. So it is highly scalable and flexible, highly adaptable, and high availability. So if we are offering a life safety system, it is essential that there is no single point of failure. So we have built-in redundancy, system level redundancy, product level, and network level redundancy. So you can have redundant controllers, you can have multiple physical speaker loop, you can have product level redundancy by having redundant products. Thereby a single point of failure will not cause the entire system to go down, which is essential for a life safety system. And sustainable. So Zenitel has been working a lot um, to reduce its own carbon footprint. We have received certification. We have recently received the certification from EcoVadis. So we, in our packaging, in our supply chain management, in our production, etc., we are reducing our carbon footprint. We are optimizing. We are bringing in products which are more energy efficient. Thereby, we are trying to be more sustainable in the products which we are offering. So these products are highly sustainable. And solutions that last. So the production of Zenital equipments are done considering a longevity in mind. So we offer high quality, reliable products in our manufacturing processes. And we also have regular software level supports so that the system can be always be compliant to the latest technology or the latest cybersecurity requirements or latest security patches, etc. And our systems are easy to install. The people who have used our products, they can uh, agree to this, that our systems are easy to install. Being a unified critical communication provider, we are able to bring in all the audio requirement to a single platform. So for the customer, it is easier to communicate with a single vendor, and user-friendly configuration, easier integration. Thereby, it is also helpful for the installers and system integrators, because they can train their engineers on a single product, which can provide multiple users, multiple functions to the customer. So these are some of the unique benefits which our public addressing or the PAVA systems provide, which enhances the safety and security for the customers. And Shri, would you like to? So I would maybe share a presentation showing our installation across the world.
Yeah, you go ahead, Sangeet. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure.
So as a testament to what Sangeet was mentioning, the PAVA portfolio that we have has been proven and tested across the whole globe. And as you will see from this video, we have delivered public address and voice alarm systems to some of the high-profile cases, as well as smaller, projects as well. Some names to highlight here. If you go to London Underground, if anybody have been to London Underground, the Mind the Gap announcement is from us. We are proud of that, actually. So all the Mind the Gap announcements are coming from Zenitel public address and voice alarm system. But we have done a lot of projects, public address and voice alarm systems projects, also in Middle East region. But you will see this from this video. So short one. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, that was a very short video, but yeah, you can.
Yes, and of course we have much more projects than what we are highlighting here. I think one of the thing what I would like to conclude it with, if you go to the next slide, Sankeet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
thank you. So those who are on the call today, and some of you may already work with Zenitel, but some of you may not actually. So for those who are not part of the Zenitel family so far, it's very easy to be part of our family. We have a community, we call it learning community. And anyone, you could be part of our learning community. Getting access to the learning community is simple. As you can see on this slide, you can go and request for to be a learning community member. And once you get access to our learning community, you have a load of resources, both sales, marketing, as well as training resources. And this will give you more in-depth into the topic that we have discussed today. We have a lot of training material, a lot of sales and marketing tools on the unified critical communication solutions, including white papers. And also we have a lot of trainings. We have an academic platform or learning management platform. In that platform, we do a lot of trainings on the Zenitel Connect Pro as well as the unified critical communication. So for those who are interested in being part of our community, please get in touch with us through by clicking this link, and then you can get access to a lot of sales, marketing, as well as the training resources. And also a kind reminder that we will be in thanks, Sangeet. We will be at Intersect Dubai this year. So if you are in Dubai around that time, you can come and visit us, especially Sangeet. I'm not going to be there, but our Middle Eastern team is going to be present at the booth. So I think this is the booth number, Sangeet, S2F17. So if you're around there, you can come and visit us. Definitely, there will be a live demo of Zenitel Connect Pro. So you get to see what Sankeet and I was talking about today, some of the use cases, how we can bring IP speakers, public address system, as well as the intercom together with the Zenitel Connect Pro. So you will be able to see that in the live demo. As well as there's an exciting product launch at this Intersect as well, without giving away too much. If you're around, go and visit. So you get to see both Zenitel Connect Pro as well as this new product launch from us. With that, thanks, Orion. So over to you.
Thanks very much, Sri, and thanks very much, Sangeet. Really good to delve into, what really makes this new line of PA and VA products unique in the market. Now, we'll get stuck into a bit of a Q&A session. So any of our audience members who are still tuned in, if you have any questions for Sri or Sangeet that you'd like us to address right now, please do drop them into the Q&A function. I've pulled together a couple of quick questions, actually, just things that have sprung to mind whilst paying attention to the presentation. And I think the first one is probably a question to both of you, because it would be interesting to get each of your thoughts on the convergence between security and safety. Now, I know from many conversations with leaders in the industry in the Middle East that that these teams are going to evolve in the future and transform, and likely, in many cases, fall under the same umbrella. Now, through this convergence, what do you think about these technologies, and how they would increase both operational efficiency and financial efficiency? I'd love to get both of your thoughts on that, if possible, please.
Yeah. Shri, your microphone is muted.
If you want to go first, I think, at least from my point of view, the convergence of the security and the safety things, of course, as we discussed today as well, is going to bring, a number of benefits. All the discussion that we had, actually, that's great. But one thing that we have not discussed much today is actually when you have multiple technologies, in some cases, these, even though they could be a multifunctional technology, but they are sitting and doing only one thing. So let's take a public address system as an example, or IP speaker for that matter. Let's take IP speaker, or maybe an intercom for that matter. So our intercom, the one Zenitel delivers, it is powerful enough to also deliver public address messages. So you can install our intercom in areas where there is a safety concern, there's an emergency concern. So by being able to bridge the security and safety together, you can truly, utilize the full potential of these devices from us, actually. So rather than having this overlapping technology, which does only one thing at a time, by being able to bridge these technology together, you can make them, as the multifunctional devices, hence utilizing the full potential of both the security side as well as the safety side, and as well as, of course, the operational side, which is also a core part of our communication offering.
Yeah. Also, I think, as Ryan mentioned, economically, it does save a lot of cost to the customer as well, having an integrated system. So you could use your IP speakers or intercom systems even to make the paging announcements. So the paging announcements could be through the PA speakers or through the remote locations or certain locations where it is difficult for them to bring in the 100-volt line speaker cable, or because they're the conduiting, or because of the physical difficulties of bringing in those additional cablings. They could just put an intercom system over there, which could be connected to the nearest data point, and then the paging announcement can be from the intercom speaker. So by integrating these systems, they are able to reduce the total cost of ownership. By having multiple system integrated together, you are having a single user interface, so you don't need different operators. You can have one operator who can listen into the intercom calls, as well as making paging announcement, as well as giving access to the access control system, also monitoring the entire facilities for any other alarms and events, whether it's a fire alarm or everything. So thereby the operational cost is reduced, the equipment cost is reduced, the maintenance cost for maintaining different systems is reduced, thereby giving an economical advantage to the facility owner or the facility management system.
I think there's a good, sorry, I go on.
No, Sri, go ahead. Go ahead.
There's a good question. I saw a poster on this chat. If you want, we can try to answer that question.
Yeah, so I was actually going to ask that, and just so the whole audience know what we're going to be speaking about, we'd like you to talk about the integration possibility with other security management systems, so VMS, PSIM, for example, and I'd like to add on to that as well. What are the unique challenges that you face when integrating your communication systems, but within the Middle East region as well?
So I think, let's take one question at a time. I think I will leave the Middle Eastern question over to Sangeet, because you know the market better than me. But at least from a integration point of view, at least the question that's been posted here is a good question. So we have a number of integration possibilities with our Zenitel Connect Pro platform. So some of the integration are based on open standard. So that means that you will get this integration out of the box from us. One such example is OnWave. So all of our devices support OnWave Profile S. So that means you can integrate our devices directly onto any OnWave compliant platform, such as video management system. So by doing that, you are able to discover devices and do basic configurations on our devices, but also more importantly, bring audio into your existing security system. Otherwise, most, as we all know, the voice, video management system is a great security asset, but it is not a proactive system. It's actually a reactive system. You see something, and then, to be able to deal with that situation, you need to send somebody to the site to be able to deal with that situation. Whereas audio, on the other hand, is quite a proactive system. It's an interactive system. So by being able to easily bring audio through OnWave to a third-party video management system, it makes the whole security system a proactive as well as interactive. So this is one way of integration, so down at the device level, but also we do the platform integrations as well. So on top of what the OnWave can do, on top of the OnWave capabilities, there are additional possibilities by integrating onto our platform. So we have done a number of integration to some of the video management system owners as well as access control system owners through REST API. Of course, again, REST API is the most modern and standardized way of integrating to software platform. And I'm happy to inform that the Zenitel Connect Pro is also support REST API. And therefore, it makes it much more easier for anyone in the security business to bring audio into their platform, whether they want to bring, just one example I can highlight here. Let's say let's take a train station as an example where you have the ticketing gates. One of the biggest problem, at least here in Europe, is actually tailgating. People tailgate all the time. So if I remember correctly, I've read some studies, at least in Paris, they lose 30% of the daily fare for tailgating. So this is significant amount of money that they are losing. But what they found out actually, keeping, a staff at these gates, of course, is possible, but what you can do instead is to have an integration between Zenitel Connect Pro and your access control system. And if someone is tailgating, the access control system is able to detect that automatically. But through the integration with our Zenitel Connect Pro and having an IP speaker in the vicinity of the gates, you can warn them, look, you have been watched, you have been tailgated, and so on. So this is in a way to scare them out, to stop them tailgating in the future. So with this integration is possible over REST API from our side. And I don't know, Sangeet, you can pitch in. If I forget something, you can also pitch in here.
No, I totally agree with you, Sri. Also, having an audio system as part of your security mix also act as a deterrence, So for example, let it be a perimeter security or an unmanned storage facility, you could easily integrate your IP speakers into a motion sensor so that if anyone is approaching any unauthorized area, immediately you can play a pre-recorded message through the IP speaker. So when someone hear a human voice, it warning them, it is always a deterrence for them to proceed further, so they always feel that someone is watching. So even if it is an unmanned area, these automated messages can be proactively prevent any theft or provide protection to the assets. Regarding your previous question, Ryan, regarding the integration challenges which we have faced in the Middle East. Of course, if I start with the adaptability of the Zenitel system, which helps in integration. So we have actually found success in integrating with many of the third-party systems in these regions, whether it is a VMS access control system, and we have a very good high-level integration. Certain challenges what we have faced is actually because of the some of the legacy systems which the customer is comfortable with, so maybe they are comfortable with the existing system. So when we bring in a new technology, they are not sure whether they want to go ahead with that or not, because they have been familiar with this. So in order to prevent that, what we need to do is we educate them about the features and facility, how it can improve their overall operational efficiency and enhance the security. So our task would be to educate them, to let them know that these kind of integrations will eventually help them to enhance the security as well as reduce the overall cost of operations.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sangeeth. And yeah, it's really important, I think, to get these insights into the different challenges based in different regions. I know that Sri touched upon implementing the UCC approach in Europe. And obviously most of our audience will be joining from the Middle East and I'm sure be most likely coming to visit you at Intersect Dubai in January. So thank you very much for sharing the information about that. And of course, we look forward to seeing you at Intersect. So I think that pretty much wraps things up. It's been a really interesting session with a very detailed presentation as well. So Sri, Sangeeth, I can't thank you, gentlemen, enough for your efforts and your time this morning. And I'm sure that our audience will be grateful for that. I would encourage our audience to reach out and also do their own research. So you can see at the bottom of the current slide that you can contact the Middle Eastern team on info.mea@zenitel.com. But again, you've got a perfect opportunity to meet Sangeeth and his team at the World Trade Center for Intersect next month. So thank you to everyone for joining us. Sangeeth, Sri, again, thanks for the detailed presentation. And we very much look forward to seeing more new products and evolutions of the existing products from Zenitel's portfolio. So wishing everybody a great day ahead. And thanks again for joining today's Security Middle East webinar.
Thank you,
Thank
Ryan.
you. Thank you,
Sri.
Ramesh. Thank you, Ryan, for hosting this session. Thank you.